other option in the modify toolbar is mirror. Mirror is going to create a mirror copy of the selected objects, and like the graphic on the image shows you, you can make symmetrical objects using the mirror option. For instance, this table tennis paddle, you only need to draw one side of it and then mirror it on the other side. So if I had to mirror this box, I'm going to add a little line in there so you can see what it looks like. L for line, and I'm going to draw a little diagonal here, and I'm going to mirror this. So I'm going to go to mirror, and I'm going to select the box and the line, hit enter. Now notice what the command prompt is telling you: specify first point of mirror line. Mirror will only work along an axis. You cannot just click and move it to a specific direction like we did with move, copy, and rotate. So you would have to specify an axis, point A and point B, and then hit enter, and it will get mirrored along this axis that you created. Your axis need not be on the object. You go to mirror, you select the box and the diagonal line, hit enter. Now this is a great tool. OSnaps and also comes with something called as an O-track option, which is object snap tracking. If you hover your mouse along the corner of this box here, and then when it identifies the end point as the object snap, you can slowly drag your mouse, and you see the green line. That green line is tracking that line, tracking that end point along a perfect horizontal axis. Okay, so it's letting you use the end point as a reference point, and it's tracking it across, so you can use that exact same point for your mirror axis. And you can do the same thing up top. Hover over the end point, move your mouse along the right till you see the green line, and then click, and then you have a perfect central axis along which the box is mirrored. If you wanted to mirror this at a specific distance, say I want to mirror this object at 3 inches, one quick way of doing it is make a line 3 inches wide this way, which will give you a point to start your mirror line from. Then you go to mirror, select the box and the line, use this line as a reference point and the O track as a reference point to find the next perpendicular point, and there you have a mirrored object that is 3 inches apart on either side. That was mirror. Now I have a whole bunch of objects on my screen. It's a good time to tell you about a quick selection tip in AutoCAD. You can obviously click on objects and select things in AutoCAD, but there are two very nifty ways of selecting. They are known as crossing window and selection window. Crossing window is when you cross or draw a window across the screen from the right to the left. It is a green box and it has a dashed line. When I move that window across my screen over all the objects get selected at one time, and then I can either erase them, delete them, move them, whatever. The other window is a blue box with a solid line that comes from left to right, and that will also select everything. But the difference is, notice when I select the green box going from right to left, I have most of the boxes completely enclosed within the window except for the one on the top, which is partially enclosed. When I release my mouse, all these boxes, including the partially enclosed box, get selected. If I repeat the same thing from left to right, I'm just holding the left button of the mouse down and dragging a window across the screen. Now I have a lot of boxes on the screen. This is a good time to show you about a nifty selection tool in AutoCAD. There are several ways of selecting in AutoCAD. You can hit Ctrl A on your keyboard, that will select everything on the screen. You can select each object individually, which will select the objects, then you can erase it or delete it. But there are two ways of selecting, and they are known as selection windows. If you hold the left key of your mouse down somewhere on the screen and drag it across from right to left, that's going to select all the objects. What you see is a green window with a dashed line. Now this window is going to select all objects that it crosses, whether, if you notice on the screen, there are a lot of boxes enclosed within the window except for one in the top corner, which is partially enclosed. When I release my mouse, all the boxes, including the one that is partially enclosed, get selected. This is known as the crossing window. It will select everything that it crosses, regardless of whether it's enclosed in the window or not. I'm hitting escape to deselect. The other way to select is you still hold the left button of the mouse down and you go from left to right of the screen. Now notice what this does. I have a lot of boxes enclosed within this line, within this window, which is blue in color, but I have two boxes that are partially enclosed. When I release my mouse button, you notice that most of the objects got selected, but not these two boxes that are partially enclosed. This is known as the selection window, which will only select objects that are completely enclosed within its boundary. So there is a crossing window, right to left, which will select everything that it crosses, and a selection window left to right, which will only select everything that is enclosed within its boundary. I'm going to select all of these boxes using my crossing window and then hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of the extra stuff.